family. Welcome back to part 2 of my conversation with the maestro, Lawrence Field. Like I said, I'm going to take you into a little bit of Soul Smooth, which was the first band with him, Ben, and Preston. This is from high school. We're going to talk about, what it looks like to see that, and then we're going to hear about the college years. Yeah, so let's go on to this clip of the band, and then me and Lawrence will talk about the band and go into the college years. Check it out. Dr. Fields, that was the beginning there, man, in the basement.
The very start. Well, yeah, I'm real thankful to Preston's mom for putting up with us, because we were putting in some long hours.
Yeah, y'all was.
And to us, it sounded like music. To her, I'm sure she must have had some times where she was like, man. But yeah, that's where it all started.
Man, and it was so funny because after that, y'all started getting little gigs in places. Y'all played at y'all played one year at our church party, one of the Christmas parties y'all played with y'all in high school. Then you go off to school. Now P goes to SIU, you go to WashU. Brother, I'm gonna ask a question. I've never heard of a freshman coming into a college and getting a gig to play Valentine's Day at the school. Cause my birthday was the 13th. Y'all had a concert for 3 years on my birthday. That was my birthday getaway, was coming to the concert and watch you. How did you pull that off?
Well, watching was kind of a crazy story because I didn't even go there to play music. I went for computer science.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to be a computer programmer and that's going to be my thing. But through meeting people, through having played through high school, I was starting to kind of like play around town a little bit and stuff like that. And I was starting to get more gigs, mostly because almost nobody played piano.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. There were 2 pianists in St. Louis, and one of them was probably coming in from somewhere out in Illinois or something, Middle Palette, you know what I mean? So it's in town there weren't that many guys. So because of that, it's if you can play, you can get a lot of calls. And my mom one day said, I have a good friend, and her son is going to WashU and he plays the drums. And there's a guy named Daniel Brown, who's now an attorney, but at that time he was going to school. And so I don't know if this ever happened to you, but sometimes when your folks say, you should meet this guy or whatever, I think it would be good, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, all right.
Right. Yeah, sure. I meet him. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but, she was right. It ended up being one of the most pivotal, things that could happen to me at that point, because Danny was in the jazz program. Okay. I didn't have any connections to music at WashU whatsoever. And Danny was playing drums. He was in the jazz band. So we ended up running into each other. And he was like, yeah, man, you should come on through and hang out with the jazz cats. So I was like, oh, that sounds all right. And so maybe a month or 2 after I got to WashU, I went over there, I hung out with them, and all of a sudden I met the jazz professor. I started to see the events that were going down, everything that was happening, and that just multiplied everything by 10,
Wow.
And so through meeting him, I ended up getting plugged into a lot more things that were going on,
Okay, so again, so to that connection is how did you get your own set on the day before Valentine's Day 3 years in a row? How did that happen?
Well, yeah, the jazz professor there was basically setting everything up for everybody.
Okay.
He was, it's a small program. It wasn't like a big, dozens and dozens of teachers.
But again, there was, you just said you wasn't even in the program, though.
I was not in the program, but you know what? To his credit, I came in, I was hanging out. At first, I really just came in to watch. I wasn't even trying to play.
Okay.
But this guy, his name is Bill Linehan. I'll never forget what he really did for me. He said, if you're gonna be here, I can see you can play. Come on in. And he just welcomed me in like I was a part of the fold.
Wow.
And so, so through that, I actually had the opportunity to play like with the jazz ensembles and stuff, even though I wasn't technically in them. But again, for some reason, there weren't a lot of pianists around. But yeah, and then he set up some stuff for me to be able to play at the school at Holmes Lounge and do a concert of my own, which was probably one of the first big things I'd done like that. There's another show that the Engineers Club in St. Louis set up for me, and those were probably the only two like really serious things that I did that I could say like were like leading my band in St. Louis. So it's really crazy how those connections work. But you meet one person and it leads to another person, and like that's why I always say like you gotta treat everyone with respect because you really never know when you meet someone like where it's gonna end up.
That's it, man. That's the whole piece, relationships, man. But again, I mean. And like I said, it would have been cool, okay, freshman year, you in the program, but you ain't in the program, it's freshman year, and you get the day before Valentine's Day for one gig in the main spot. It was cool, everything went down. Then you get the second year in a bigger spot, and you're still in the program, and then the third year you get it again. I'm like, dude, how you pulling this off? And you ain't in the program.
Yeah, well, Bill Linehan really, some people, it's like some people see through people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are people who see this, and then there are people who see through people, And, like, I was fortunate growing up to have at least a few people who really saw through what was going on, And were just took it upon themselves to really try to help me grow, And he was one of those people.
And man, I mean the thing was that made it wild was the fact that you put together all 3 years. The only person that was consistent was Preston. You changed that. I'm gonna bring somebody else here. Cool. But you and P had a combination that just was like, it was crazy, man.
Yeah, well, Preston was like, he's really. Yeah, I guess Preston was actually the first drummer I ever played with. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, when you get a bond like that, it's special, Yeah. Those are the types of things you can't replace.
So, okay, now, so you're doing the Wash U piece, you're going to school for engineering, but you're playing these things in the band, and then one day you decide, I'm going to tell mom and dad, I think I'm finna roll somewhere else.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, for a couple of reasons, I was not the best student at WashU at all. Okay. Because it was two things. One was before I went to school, I was already studying computers on my own.
Okay.
Mostly because, my dad has stuff up at the house. He always had like he would get his computer. Okay. He would have whatever the old model was. Okay. So my first computer, I don't even know if you remember this thing, but it was a Commodore 64.
Yes, sir. I remember the Commodore.
Yeah. So there wasn't much that you could do on that thing without understanding.
Right.
Right. It's not like nowadays where you get your mouse and click around and you're like, oh, okay, I see this. No, it was like you had to know all the commands. You had to know how the thing worked and how to load the disk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I got started with that at a pretty young age, which meant that when I got to WashU, I was expecting these high level, let's go, all right, we're in university now, let's go. And the first class was like, this is programming. I was like,
yeah,
I was like, I was ready to go. And there were people coming in who seemed like they'd never seen a computer before, I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah. Okay, so you were having that Charlie Brown moment while the professor talking, going wow, 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 wow. You like, really? I'm in here.
Yeah, which you know, eventually the curve caught up, right? Eventually it kind of goes like this. So they start everyone out and then it accelerates.
Right.
And so I was so bored during the first part that I wasn't really ready for that acceleration to hit, you know?
Okay.
Because I was coming to class and I was like, man, I already know this stuff. You know, at that time I was like young and dumb, you know? Like, you know how it is. I was 16 years old, so it's like, you know, around that age, you don't know what's what, you know?
Right.
So that was an important lesson too. But basically, I was going to class and I was bored out of my mind, and that's part of what drove me to the practice room. You know,
gotcha.
I was like, well, if I'm bored with the computer stuff, I could be there, like practicing piano.
Gotcha.
And so I would just go to the piano practice rooms and just spend some hours in there and shit. You know, I can't say that made me a great student of computer science.
Oh man! Wow.
But here's the thing. So I was there. I was doing computer science, and you know, it was not going so well, to be honest. But once again, I took a web design class, and I had already, you know, I was going to Borders or in Barnes and Noble.
Right,
you know, when I was littler, getting books to learn web design because that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
So when I got to the class, I already knew probably the first half of the course material. And that teacher also looked out for me. Okay. So somebody came to the school, and you know, people are always trying to figure out how they can get stuff done on the cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
There was a company that said, all right, you know, I know, we'll hire university students, you know.
Wow.
Which is a great idea if they know what they're doing. And to these guys' credit, I mean, they're not supposed to know yet. They're students.
Right.
But they hired them to do this website, and you know, they kind of got most of it done, but it was a mess. And they needed to launch it in 3 weeks, and they said, you know what, it's not working out. Do you have anybody who can fix this thing so we can get it launched in 3 weeks? And the teacher in that class, once again, similar story, right? It wasn't like it was through any merit of my own, but the teacher noticed that I was bored, and you know, said, you know, would you like to try to do this? And I was like, you know, okay, I'll give it a shot. You know, I'm bored anyway.
I want to get some money for it.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Especially in that age. What? Yeah, let's go. So he recommended me for this job, and that it put all my skills to the test. I had to learn a new computer programming language. In 3 weeks, I had to debug all the code that they wrote, figure out how to fix all their stuff, and it works.
Wow.
And after that, they ended up hiring me. They were like, you know, do you want to come on and work for us full time? And I was like, hey, I'm in school. I'm not really doing so well. You know, I'm kind of bored, and I'm kind of getting into other things, but I mean, that sounds great. And so I did it. So I was like 18 at that point, and I went to go work for them and kind of start a little web team with them, you know.
Wow, okay.
And at that point, I was starting to play around the city more, thanks to the connections that I got through Danny.
Right.
Because Danny was also playing gigs out and about. So we would go out to play at, like, you know, the Chase Park Plaza, or, you know, the Engineers Club, or there was one more, something I can't think. There was a black organization in St. Louis that used to do gigs. I can't remember what it was that we used to play for too. But anyway, yeah, we would go play these gigs and we'd meet other people.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
And so by the time that I got hired for that job, I was starting to play I was playing maybe 5 nights a week, you know?
we supposed to be in school. You out in
I was supposed to be in school. Well, I was like, hey, I got it made right now. I'm playing every day. I got a job. I'm making money. I'm still living at home.
Right. I'm still living at home.
I have no responsibilities.
Man.
You know? But that was what taught me that it wasn't really for me. You know, because I was sitting at my desk every day, going to work. It was a cool job, but you know, I was typing on a keyboard, not really talking to other human beings.
Right.
And I was listening to music the entire time. You know, I had my headphones on the whole day. And it was like, I couldn't wait to get done for the day so that I could go out and play music.
Okay.
And I kind of realized that maybe this is what I should be doing. So, speaking of Preston, Preston mentioned to me way back in the day, you know, he was all excited about this place called Berklee College of Music, you know? I think he might have sent them an audition. Did you record it? You might have recorded an audition tape.
Yeah.
And so, you know, to me, that sounded like the hollow ground.
Right.
And then I looked it up online, and man, they had all kinds of music studios. They had people playing all kinds of music. You know, it wasn't just like a conservatory.
Right. There
were people there for hip hop, for gospel music. There were people there for soul, for bluegrass, for all this other stuff. And I was like, that's where I want to go. So I told myself, look, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to practice super hard. And if I can get a scholarship, I'm going to quit my job and go.
Wow.
And I practiced as hard as I could. My dad took me to Chicago to do an audition. Did the audition, wait, a couple months or whatever. Got sent a letter in the mail, and I got a scholarship. And I was like, that's it. I'll see you.
It was so funny because I had asked Preston. I think it was about time for the concert or something coming up. I said, so what's the plan for Lawrence? Oh, cuz he leaving. I said, where he going? Oh, he going to Berklee School of Music. So yes, I thought he was doing Washington. Nah, he going to do his music thing. I said, oh, okay, well, hey, he can do that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like, this is a good lesson in like how life works,
Yeah.
Like, you don't really get to plan everything. You try your best, but then one thing happens and it leads to another thing. An opportunity opens up that maybe you didn't expect, or one door gets closed.
Yeah.
So you have to find another door, So, it happened in kind of a weird zigzag way, but I know that's a long answer to your question, but that's how I ended up with it.
Man, well, I didn't know all that, but yeah, that's matter of fact. And let's take a look now at one of the episodes for you playing at Watch You. Check this one out.
And I was able to lock down this awesome jazz ensemble, the Lawrence Fields. How you guys doing?
Wonderful.
I just want to say, I'm sitting back there in the corner, and I am like speechless. Speechless, each and every one of you. Oh my God, it's like you've been playing together forever. I want you to go ahead and take this moment and introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Lawrence Fields on piano.
Piano.
Chris Burchett on guitar. I'm Preston Williams on drums.
And Daryl Mixon on bass.
Wonderful. Now, jazz happens to be my all-time favorite music because I'm sitting back there watching, and it's like, you can't help but feel what you guys are feeling. Oh my God. Tell me, how did you even get started? Has this just been a love for you growing up? Or?
Yeah, I was really kind of fortunate. In high school, I didn't play much at all. And then I used to kind of mess around a little bit. Then I met Preston. I heard Preston play. And so I started kind of trying to get it together. It's all kind of been playing from there, just trying to learn.
Wow, so you all have been playing together for a while?
Yeah. We started, like I said, in high school, actually in drumline. And we would just stay after school and make rhythms and beats and things like that. And then he'd get on the piano, and then it was actually three of us, me, a saxophone player, and Lawrence.
Okay.
And we just kind of hooked up, and we used to play after school and just have fun.
We got to stop it right there. Now, we made through high school, and now that's the college story. Now we're going to find out in the next volume 3. Here's my first third piece right here, but I got some more coming, but this is my first. And in volume 3, we'll find out exactly how he ended up in the NYC where he is today. But man, I just want to thank all you for watching. And as you see again, the common moving piece is his drummer. He took his drummer with him. But yeah, that was just, I mean, man, and you see the growth from high school to college. That there was, I believe, was the second year that he did the concert. And man, just the growth. I mean, but again, when it's in your heart and your spirit, it grows and you gotta follow it. So stay tuned for the next one as he tells us exactly how he ended up in the NYC and what he's been doing and what the future holds. Yeah. Oh man, I'm enjoying this. This is what the neighborhood is about for me. I want to express and share with you some of the people I know, some of the things that they've been doing and going on, because you might have heard some of Lawrence's music, you might have seen, you might know Minister Preston. Yeah, Preston is a minister now as well. So you might know Minister Preston, you might know Lawrence Field's music, you might see somebody here that you know, Chris and Daryl Mixon. I mean, it's just so many people and so many different working instruments in St. Louis through music, entertainment, sports, political, whatever. You never know who you sit next to. And I got some more people who I know, who I met as friends, as just hanging out and chilling out, and then later find out they own companies. They're big names in corporations. The CEOs of the Rams, CEO of the YMCA. I mean, just so many people that you come in contact with that you never know until you sit down and talk to them. That's all it is. All I'm trying to do is help you to move to a next level by just having conversation with people. Just hello, and how you doing? You never know. You might make a new friend. But in the neighborhood, we all family. And thank you for watching again. So like I said, that was the end of round 2. Volume 3 is coming up next. Stay tuned to learn more about the maestro, Mr. Lawrence Fields, and his journey. Because you might be in a place now where you want to do something, but you just don't know. And you're just a little bit scared about it. But when it comes to jumping out and following your heart, and when something is for you, when God has something for you, it's yours. Sometimes you got to jump out and walk on faith. But again, nothing beats a failure but a try. All right, till next time, love your life and live a life you love. All right, holla at ya. Peace.